Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Apologies that this video is a little bit late. This weekend obviously football returned, Premier League football returned after 2 or 3 weekends without anything to watch. I decided to actually watch all of the matches this weekend, which I very rarely do due to the timings of certain games because it's on usually in the middle of the night. But I decided to just do a full weekend of binge watching the football, which led to a few beers in the pub. We had 2 massive derbies, and before we get into the 6 things we learned from Chelsea's 2-1 win away at Crystal Palace, I want to point you guys in the direction of the link in the description where the boys over on Last Fan Standing. I'm back on the show today, so when we look at this week's episode, I'll be back on it. But the boys were talking about the Manchester derby and how it wasn't really a football match at all. City won 6-3, dominated them, Haaland hat-trick, Foden hat-trick, but this is what the boys had to say about it.
Doesn't matter, who cares?
It's not been a derby for 10 years because United haven't been able to compete for their own league for about 10, 11 years.
To be fair, let's be real. We
Let's be completely real. You spent more money than City in the last 5 years, spent £1 billion, and you won 1 League Cup in 5 years. You've had managers that have played some dross football.
I wish we won the League Cup.
And you haven't won your own league for 11 years.
I think overall, what we confirmed this weekend is that Manchester City and Manchester United are on totally different levels of the footballing spectrum these days. City get the win. Link is in the description to the full episode. Make sure you go over there and check it out. Well, 6 things we learned from Palace 1, Chelsea 2. I've given a host of greens in this video today because although as the match went, it wasn't the best Chelsea team performance. It was 2 moments once more of individual brilliance. I think there were a lot of symbolic moments within the key moments of these games from Chelsea to suggest that we could well be in for some improvement under Graham Potter right now. We've got AC Milan on Wednesday, which is of course another massive game, but we begin, box number 1 is a blue box for the match winner. A moment of magnificence from Chelsea and England's Conor Gallagher when the game looked as though it was just running away from us again, where we have a lot of possession, or we didn't really dominate the possession, but we had a lot of possession in good areas. But again, we saw similar movement strategy from Chelsea when it came to a lot of side-to-side stuff. There was a bit more speed within the incision of passes in the final third, but it was a moment of sheer magic from Conor Gallagher against the team that gave him really this opportunity to be in the Chelsea first team squad this season. Gallagher at Palace last year was their best player. He had a brilliant season. And then at the start of the season, when Tuchel's looking at which players he wants to have in and around the first team, you've got a few names of your Gilmores who get sold. You've then got the likes of Gallagher where people are thinking, well, is it going to be another loan? And Conor Gallagher showed in this one moment exactly why Thomas Tuchel wanted him to stay. And now Graham Potter is going to see him as a key man as well. It's a beautiful finish. How many times have we been calling for Chelsea players to be able to shoot from outside of the area, let alone to absolutely nail one into the top corner? We're hearing a few stories about what Graham Potter wants to do with certain players in the Chelsea squad. We've heard last week rumours that he wants to see Trevor Chalobah potentially be an option as the number 6. We've got Dennis Zakaria, who just signed, who can't even make the squad for this game against Palace. So when Connor's doing stuff like that to win matches for Chelsea in the 90th minute of games, in very tough environments, going to Selhurst Park and getting a win isn't always easy. Chelsea have got a good record recently against Palace, but it is a moment of class. And at the end of the day, when we bring it back to what we said at the beginning of the video, you've got Man City absolutely dominating United. You've got Arsenal putting in one of their best performances we've seen under Arteta to win their North London derby. There is a gulf in terms of the quality at the moment, and if Chelsea are to keep on winning matches, maybe we will need to rely on moments of individual brilliance before Graham Potter starts to get this team clicking the way he wants them to play. Box number 2 is for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. First Chelsea Premier League start, and it is a brilliant goal. When I was watching it, I didn't expect the goal to go in. You know what? When you're so used to a certain level of finishing, a certain level of movement from Chelsea, when Aubameyang just lets that ball run over his body from the Thiago Silva header. Thiago Silva all the way up there, by the way, to get that assist. We'll talk about him in a minute, but he gets the ball back across. Aubameyang just lets it roll over his chest, and then he hits it into the ground and into the back of the net. It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of goal from a Chelsea striker. And I think other than the goal, it was Aubameyang's movement that I thought was excellent today. I remember towards the last few months of his time at Arsenal, there was a bit of an arrogance in my mind about the way Aubameyang saw his position in the squad. Maybe there were times where performances weren't good, and then there was that public fallout with Arteta and he wasn't playing. But I think a lot of the reasons why Arteta was frustrated with Aubameyang at Arsenal was because of the movement and what we saw, dropping deeper, getting the ball back, but when he dropped deeper to receive the ball, he then offloads it out wide and then makes the movement and the runs into the advanced areas that Chelsea have just been lacking for so long. And it is not only a brilliant finish, we had a focal point in this game. We had someone that we were looking to get the ball to. And the goal is brilliant before half-time as well. Chelsea back in the game, and then it was on us to go for the winner. Box number 3 is a green for the man who always seems to do the job against Crystal Palace. It's a green for Reece James. He once again nullified the attacking threat of Wilfried Zaha. Wilfried Zaha this season for Palace, in my opinion, has probably been in the best form of his career at the start of this campaign. Reece James once more showed that despite Chelsea not being at our most fluid, and a lot of the positives that we talk about regarding Reece is his ability going forward. But I think Reece did a very solid defensive job in this game. Now, box number 4, I've given it, surprisingly, you might say here to some of you, to Thiago Silva. I wanted to give a green box for Kepa because Kepa had a very good game, making a lot of saves in this one. But the reason I gave it to Silva is because, ironically, he probably shouldn't have been on the pitch. I think it's a red card, personally. He gets away with it with... It's a double handball. He handballs it the first time, and then the second one is quite clearly to push it away. But statistically, when you look at Thiago Silva's performance once again, he was absolutely brilliant. And I was between him and Kepa because box number 5, I want to kind of go down a different avenue as to my reasons why, one moment of brilliance, I've given a green box to Christian Pulisic. We're going to talk about him in a second, but Thiago Silva once more. He's in the team. Kalidou Koulibaly not getting in there. And I think Silva is showing, although I don't think he's going to play in every game this season because of his age and because we've got so many matches in such a short period of time. I think it's now like 8 games in the next 27 days or the next 26 days or something like that after this Palace one. He probably shouldn't have been on the pitch, in my opinion, which would have changed the whole scope of the way this game probably would have gone. I thought, once again, dealing with what Silva did, despite maybe 1 or 2 moments of looking a bit shaky against a very quick, fast-paced Palace attack, Thiago Silva did very well once again. Box number 5, as I said, Christian Pulisic. The reason I've given this box number 5, it's a brilliant assist for Conor Gallagher. Pulisic, again, coming in, not starting the games, he's still at Chelsea, and when he comes on, that is exactly what we need him to do. We need him to show that quick feet when players are closing him down, the intelligence to give the ball to Gallagher, who then it's just a perfect Chelsea goal. 2 substitutions and 2 goals. And the reason I've given Pulisic the green is because I think this is what we've needed to see. We need to see him getting involved. We need to see physical goal involvement. It's an assist for Christian Pulisic for a 90th minute winner. It's brilliant footwork instead of still trying to do more, which could have been going through his mind when it's about Pulisic wants to be starting. And if he can influence games and get that last minute goal himself, he's going to want to try and do so. Very unselfish. And I think as a result, obviously Chelsea have come away with 3 points, but I think what it means going forward when you've got players who can come on and influence the game directly with assists and goals, the way that both Pulisic and Gallagher did, I think this is why box number 6 goes to Graham Potter, because it's his substitutions that have ended up making the significant difference today for Chelsea. I say today, it was 2 days ago now, but it made the difference. And I think even though it wasn't the greatest performance, we once again saw moments of individual class from players that are coming into the squad who Graham Potter is going to have to keep looking at to try and integrate into how he wants to get this team to play. And what I mean by that is we can have individual brilliance. We can have moments at the moment that win us games because we're a team in transition. We are waiting for people to understand, the players to understand exactly how it is that Graham Potter wants us to play. It's only his second game as Chelsea manager to win it in the 90th minute. He deserves the backing. And even though it might not be fully clicking with the fluidity that we want to see from our Chelsea, it is a great step in the right direction. We've got 2 Champions League games now against AC Milan, sandwiched in with another Premier League game this coming weekend. 2 games. We haven't lost yet, which I know the first one was the draw in the Champions League we weren't too happy about, but it's a massive first win. Let me know the 6 things you learned from Palace 1, Chelsea 2 in the comments down below. Apologies, I've been very slow. I've not been uploading much recently. There was no football. There wasn't much to talk about. Christopher Nkunku, we're going to talk about him in tomorrow's video, as it looks as though he's undergone a medical and it's now just down to Chelsea to strike the deal and the format of the deal with RB Leipzig. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. You did enjoy it. Be sure to hit the like button. As I said at the beginning, check out the Bet Victor Last Fan Standing episode in the description. Come on, you Blues.